Hello everyone, we're going to be watching a video and we're actually going to be reacting to 10 evil bullies who went too far.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 evil bullies who went too far. So it turns out that around 42% of people have been bullied before, and this can be minor stuff like name calling and pushing people around to absolutely insane things that I couldn't even imagine. And today we're going to be looking at the insane stuff. So please drop a like if you enjoyed. Let's aim for 6,000 likes on this video because it really does help me out. So coming in at number 10.
Oh, sorry guys.
The video shows 4 15-year-old bullies with a 12-year-old who's tied up with a rope around his neck by the older kids. And then the older kids slap him and chase him around and even light cigarettes and then put them down the kid's t-shirt. And one kid even stomped on his head with a shoe, which is really messed up because that kid could have got serious burn injuries. And while the kid was crying and all of this was going on, the bullies were just laughing. And one of them was even filming it, I guess, to show their friends or something. Now, I'm not going to show the video, but I had to see it to make this video, and I can tell you guys it's so messed up. But it is online, and because of how insane this is, so many Chinese people were pissed off and disgusted, and they demanded that police took action and look into this. And the police got over 4,000 phone calls about it. And they did investigate it, and they found out the identities of all 4 kids, but the kids couldn't get legal punishment because they were too young, except a fine of around $12,000, which their parents have to pay for. Damn, I can't imagine what their parents did to the kids when they got a $12,000 fine. But the kids didn't totally get away with it because their information got publicized, and they received death threats, they got kicked out of their school, and they probably won't be able to get a job because of this. Now that is a really bad punishment, and some people think the police shouldn't have leaked their information, but what they did was really fucked up. So what do you guys think? Should they be kept anonymous or exposed? Anyway, next up we have Natalie Connor. So this one is absolutely insane and really sad. And if you guys thought the one before was dramatic, well, this one is even more crazy. I mean, it's seriously like something out of a horror movie. So basically, this girl from England called Natalie Connor started really hating and bullying this girl called Lucy Cochrane. And what's really nasty is that Lucy had learning difficulties, which was one of the reasons why Natalie bullied her, and also because she had ginger hair. So basically, Natalie started getting worried about getting in trouble for being a bully, so she told her parents that Lucy had been...
Yeah? You got caught on camera. And to get revenge on Lucy for apparently bullying her, even though it was the other way around, Natalie and her mum planned to set her house on fire, but Natalie's dad was from the YouTube channel.
One night when he was drunk, Natalie's mum persuaded him to do it. So he poured petrol through Lucy's house's letterbox and then threw in a match to light a massive fire. The whole house got totally destroyed, and Lucy was left with 3rd-degree burns, which will change her life forever because she'll never forget her mother. And these are the bullies of the heart who were parents burned to death. So yeah, this bully literally killed her victim's parents and ruined her life. And obviously Natalie and her parents were caught, and the parents were both sentenced to life in jail, but because Natalie was only 17, she could only serve a maximum of 11 years, but for some reason she was let out in 2011 after only serving half of her sentence. So yeah, this evil girl is at large right now, which I think is insane. So next up on the list we have Jessica Logan. This one is also really sad and is a massive tragedy. The story is something that happens a lot to people, not usually with this kind of ending. So Jessica was in her last year of high school and she was having a pretty messy breakup with her boyfriend. And you guys have probably all heard of sites like revenge porn and stuff, where people basically leak photos of their exes naked to expose them. And that's kind of what happened to Jessica, because her boyfriend ended up sending naked photos of Jessica to the whole school. And because of this, people were harassing her and shaming her, which made her really sad. And apparently the whole school was calling her a slut and a whore. And she tried to talk to teachers about this bullying, but they seemed to just ask them nicely to delete the photos. Like, what? These teachers obviously didn't give a shit, because everyone knows it would never work. But a little later, a reporter police station invited her in to talk about her bullying and spread the message of anti-bullying, which was good of her to try and tell people not to send naked photos so people have to experience what she was going through. But this ended up making the bullying worse, and 2 months after the TV appearance, Jessica was found dead in her room, and she'd actually hanged herself because of the bullying. And her parents sued the ex-boyfriend and her school for not doing enough to stop the bullying, which I think is totally justified. classified, and it's so messed up that people bullied her for this. Like, I know girls who have had their nudes leaked and nothing bad happened to them, but just be careful who you guys send photos to. So next up is Sergei Kasper. This is another massive tragedy, and this is also another example of teachers just not giving a shit about their students getting bullied. So this one is from Russia. Basically, this kid called Sergei was a student who loved art and acting, but because Russia is very homophobic, they thought he might be gay because of this, so they always bullied him. But one day in 2014, his classmates wrapped him in a plastic bag so he couldn't move his arms or legs, and then they pushed him into a dirty toilet when he was all wrapped up. They then brought him back to the classroom where a teacher was, and they put him in the classroom, but because he couldn't stand up because his legs were all wrapped up, he fell over and hit his neck on the teacher's desk, and that ended up crushing his windpipe. And even when he was lying on the floor, bullies were still laughing until a few minutes, and then they realized he couldn't breathe. Sergei was then taken to the hospital, but sadly died later that day. The whole thing was caught on surveillance video, and the video went viral on YouTube, but I just can't believe the teacher didn't stop this. I think they're just as much to blame as the bullies. But anyway, coming up next is Cade Polos. So in 2012, this kid called Cade went to a junior high school in Oklahoma in America, and one day the school had a superhero dress-up day, and just before the students had to go to their first class and everyone was in the hallway checking out each other's costumes, well, suddenly a really loud gunshot was heard and everyone ran out of the school because everyone thought it might be a school shooting or something. So the students all got evacuated and the school went into total lockdown, but it turns out it wasn't a school shooter, but Cade Polos dressed as the Batman villain Two-Face. And Cade had actually shot himself in the head in front of loads of people with his dad's handgun, and after his death it was found out that he'd been badly bullied because of his ginger hair. And when the police asked the school if they knew about the bullying, they said no. But one policeman was so sad and angry about what happened, he decided to do some digging, and he asked a ton of students, and they said that Cade was bullied a lot and everyone knew, so the school basically just lied to save their own backs, which is obviously really messed up, and this one is just so sad. So next up is Karen Klein. So this is another really sad one, and this is strange because of who was being bullied. So Karen Klein is an elderly woman from New York in America who is partly deaf, and she worked as a school bus monitor for a high school, which basically just means she looked after everyone and made sure people were behaving themselves on the school bus. But in 2012, a video went
I'm sorry if I'm looking this way.
Where a ton of kids were bullying her, and they were doing stuff like calling her a bitch and saying her family killed themselves not to be with her.
I'm actually looking at my screen.
Well,
not this, my screen.
Because what they were saying was so messed up, she started crying, but even when she was crying, the kids still mocked her and said she was a fat ass, and she was only crying because she missed her box of Twinkies, which is basically like an unhealthy snack if you guys aren't from America. But anyway, after the video went viral, Karen admitted on the news that the kids had bullied her for a while and would sometimes even attack her and steal her hearing aid. And because people were so outraged by this, they ended up doxing the bullies, which means to give out their information. And because of that, the bullies got a ton of death threats and hate online, and even though these bullies were so nasty to her, Karen asked people not to do this, and she didn't even press charges. Then a Canadian guy who saw the news story set up a GoFundMe, which raised over $700,000 for Karen, and she used that to start up her own charity about anti-bullying. So yeah, at least this one has kind of a happy ending. So next up is Ty Smalley. This is another really shocking and sad one. So basically, this kid called Ty was getting really badly bullied at school because he was so small, and he would get called names, had food thrown on him, got locked in school lockers, and even put into bins. And because of how bad this was getting, his parents decided to send letters to the school, and over the course of only a few months, they sent over 4 letters asking the school to do something about it. But over time, the school just said boys will be boys, and they did nothing. Like, what kind of school is this which just lets kids be bullied? I mean, fair enough if it is just jokes and stuff, but it's pretty obvious that this wasn't. But anyway, one day Ty did something he'd never done before. He got cornered in the school gym and was getting punched, so for once he decided to punch back. And because they were technically fighting, he got sent to the principal's office along with one of the bullies, and Ty got given a 4-day suspension while his bully only got 1. This school seems so dumb. Why would you give the person who started the fight less of a punishment? And they knew Ty was getting bullied, so why would they suspend him at all? But here's the really shocking and sad part. On the first day of Ty's suspension, he shot himself in the head at home and killed himself. And I'm not sure if the bully got in trouble for basically causing Ty's suicide, but if what the school was doing before is nothing to go by, I doubt the bully got in any trouble at all. So next up we have Bailey O'Neill. So this one is a really shocking one, and the bullies are really evil in this one. So basically, this kid called Bailey would often get bullied by these 2 boys, and one day these 2 boys jumped him at recess, and they tried to attack him and take his lunch money. So Bailey tried to run away, so the bullies started smacking him in the head and face and broke his nose. And Bailey just tried to protect himself the whole time and was given an ice pack to recover. Like, seriously? That's not gonna do shit for a broken nose. Anyway, his bully got suspended for about 1 day, but after getting hit in the head by the bullies, Bailey started to change a lot. So he got checked out by a doctor and they found out that he got a traumatic brain concussion because of the bully's attack. And then Bailey started to get seizures every few seconds because his brain was really messed up after he got hit. So the doctors had to put Bailey into a coma to try and operate on his brain.
Bailey's
But
not
before they could even
going
operate, he died in a coma one day after his 12th birthday, which is such a sad story. And even though those bullies didn't mean to kill him, they still did, and I hope they got some kind of punishment. So next up we have Nicole Madison Lavelle. So this one is a really sad one, especially because of the victim's backstory. And what happened to this girl is so insane, it's like a horror movie. Nicole was around 4, she survived a liver transplant, but when she turned 14, she started being bullied really badly at school because she had ginger hair, freckles, and was a little bit overweight. So to try and cope with the bullying in real life, she joined a lot of dating websites and tried to create a better life online, as she spent a lot of time talking to strangers on these anonymous dating websites. And eventually she started talking to a guy called David Eisenhower, who was 18 and went to a university in Virginia in America. And David convinced Nicole to run away with him. So in 2016, Nicole snuck out of her house in the middle of the night to go to Virginia. But when she got there, David and his friend Natalie murdered Nicole, and she was found dead 4 days later in a forest. And this only happened a few months ago, so the killers are still awaiting a sentence, but I think they're gonna get life in jail. But yeah, it turns out that David knew about her age all along and was just using her vulnerability to lure him to her so he could kill her. And all of this wouldn't have happened if Nicole didn't get bullied in the first place. So coming up last is Kyle Darker. So this one is really sad and messed up, especially because of the kid's age. So this 12-year-old boy from England called Kyle was getting badly bullied at school, and one day in 2014 his parents walked into his room to find him hanged from his bed using his bed sheets. He was airlifted to a hospital, but it was too late and he was already dead, and the doctors couldn't bring him back. And some people think he didn't kill himself and he was just playing around and did it by accident, but I don't really see how you could do something like that by accident. And also, I mean, he was getting bullied, so most people thought he killed himself because of that. And one of his friends wrote on his Facebook saying, "Hate bullies so much, R.I.P. Kyle, sleep tight little man, you had your whole life ahead of you." And another friend wrote, "R.I.P. Kyle, how can someone bully someone so much that they feel the need to end their life? It's disgusting, knocks me sick." So it sounds like his friends knew what was going on, but the school refused to tell the media if he was getting bullied or not. But even so, this is such a sad story to end off on, and I'm sorry this was kind of more of a sad and serious video, but I hope you guys can still take the message away from this video, and that's that bullying is so messed up. And that just about wraps up this video. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you guys can vote for the worst bullying story. For me, I think it's the one who set the girl's house on fire, just because that is absolutely insane. But
So guys, this is a react video. My very first react video, and why did I watch this? I feel bad for everyone. Oops. So yeah, I'll do it for this video.